Soccerex Connected, day 5, our final day. Ben Jacobs with you. A very good afternoon and, of course, evening to those of you in Asia. Still in the morning if you've tuned in on the west coast of America. A global audience, 100 countries represented and over 2,500 delegates. It's been our biggest digital conference ever. And top secret, I can tell you there will be more. Stay tuned to Soccerex channels for more information about future conferences. And maybe, just maybe, as long as it's safe, we won't have to be so socially distant by the end of the year. And we might be able to have a conference in person somewhere. Like I say, we'll have details as soon as plans are official. Thanks to WSC Sports, our presenting partner of the day. And in addition, we give a shout out to LaLiga North America and to the ICC, part of Relevant Sports. We'll hear from them in just a moment. They've provided us not one, but 2 signed shirts, and they are breathtaking ones as well. Team Atletico Madrid shirt. If you would like to win that, you just have to compliment us, ask lots of questions. That goes to the most engaged viewer of the week. In addition to that, I've got a signed Antoine Griezmann Barcelona shirt from this season as well. If you'd like to win that, you just need to post a photograph of your favorite ever La Liga strip. It can be anything, but you get bonus points if you are either wearing it in the photo or have some fun. Stick it on a baby or a pet. Either way, send that to @Soccerex. Use the hashtag SoccerexConnected. Thanks to Matteo, who sent me a La Liga Betis jersey. It's a green and white one sponsored by Betway. Football Match Worn, that's your handle on Twitter, has also sent me an old Barcelona Match Worn shirt from 2007. And Ashley Brown has tweeted 2007-8 Barcelona away shirt in 2-tone blue. Thank you to all of you who have also just engaged around the panels as well. Utkaresh, one of our winners of the signed shirt yesterday, said great session on digital media, and I'm glad that you enjoyed that. And Don Dada has been in touch again and sent a second version of his 90s Barcelona shirt. Good panel and enjoying Soccerex so far, he says. You've entered the draw. We'll announce the winner of those signed shirts in around about 45 minutes time. So let's move on to our 5 o'clock panel now. It is brought to you by La Liga, and they join us to talk about how they handled the challenging events of 2020 and the early part of this year as well due to COVID-19. We'll touch upon the switch to a mostly digital world, and we'll hear how La Liga are planning for the future as well, both online and in person, with vaccinations already rolled out across North America. Maybe we'll also get that competitive game of La Liga in North America too. To discuss, we welcome Patrick Lowe, Head of Partnerships at La Liga North America, and from Herbalife, the Global Director of Sports Partnerships and Corporate Alliances, Megan Majid. And steering the ship is the Head of Communications and Public Affairs for Relevant Sports. They put on the International Champions Cup, so thank you to you for the shirt along with La Liga North America. Based out of New York, it is a warm welcome to Ben Sazenko, Head of Communications and Public Affairs at Relevant. Ben, over to you.
Thank you so much to my good friend Ben Jacobs, and hope all is well with you. And welcome everyone to the La Liga North America and Herbalife Nutrition panel at Soccerex. As Ben mentioned, I'm your host, Ben Sazenko from Relevant Sports Group, the owner and operator of the International Champions Cup, the Women's ICC, ICC Futures, and the executive producers of the new documentary, My Name is Ada Hegerberg, currently available on ESPN Plus and soon will be available worldwide, so stay tuned for that. As Ben mentioned, really excited today to be joined by Megan Majid from Herbalife Nutrition and Patrick Lowe from La Liga North America. Since 2015, Megan has served as Global Director of Sports Marketing and Corporate Alliances for Herbalife Nutrition. She is responsible for leading sponsorship strategy and overseeing a sponsorship portfolio of over 200 athletes, teams, and leagues across the globe. Patrick is the head of partnerships for La Liga North America, a joint venture between Relevant Sports Group and La Liga. He was previously the global partnership sales manager in La Liga's headquarters based in Madrid and spent the 5 prior years with Adidas. And we have a lot to discuss over the next 45 minutes or so, including Herbalife Nutrition's partnership with athletes, clubs, and leagues from around the globe, La Liga's unstoppable growth as the best soccer league in the world, and how these 2 massive brands have partnered together to connect with sports fans beyond the traditional broadcasts on TV. This partnership leverages multilingual content, experiential activations, legends, and more to connect with Herbalife consumers and distributors and LaLiga fans in a meaningful way. So let's kick things off here with our panelists. Megan, congratulations on the partnership. And this is not the first partnership, as I mentioned, in sports for Herbalife, and not the first one in soccer. You partnered with several clubs and athletes. So tell us, why does it make sense for your brand to partner with premium sports brands? And really, what has proven to be successful?
Well, thank you so much, Ben. I mean, we are so excited to be partners with LaLiga in North America, and Patrick and his team have been amazing and relevant as well. You know, all of this really stems from our relationship with Relevant Sports Group, and we're so excited about it. We're a company that's been around for 40 years, and we're in 94 countries. And when we look at sponsorships, we need a global reach, and it makes sense for us because we offer a really quality, high performing nutrition offering, and we cover everything from weight management to sports performance products to supplements. And we know what we're offering athletes can take care of them during pre, during, and post workouts. So we're a company that really believes in the nutrition that we can provide to help these athletes reach their goals and these teams to reach their goals.
Can you give an example of some of your partnerships that extend beyond LaLiga that have captured kind of worldwide attention, and might be some interesting names that people listening to the panel might be interested in hearing about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can start with one that I think a lot of people are familiar with, Cristiano Ronaldo. We've had a great relationship with Cristiano from 2013 on. He has been a fantastic partner and someone we actually have a beverage line with, our CR7 Drive product. And we reach people outside of soccer as well. I mean, our top tier soccer players here, we've got Chicharito, Ronaldo, Cuadrado. We work with the Atletico Madrid women's team, Dana Castellanos. We have the Lyon women's team in France. And then, when we look outside of soccer, we have people like Virat Kohli. While he may not be super familiar to a soccer audience, he's actually one of the top cricket players in the world. He is based in India, and he is, incredibly successful in his own right in cricket. We have several triathletes, lots of Iron women as well, and really wide breadth. We also sponsor 5 NOCs, National Olympic Committees. So we're working really closely with those National Olympic Committees to deliver quality nutrition to their teams as well. So we really kind of have a very vast footprint in sports.
An incredible list of athletes. And before I go to Patrick, can you give an example of how you've kind of leveraged one of these partnerships to gain attention? Has there been an activation or a unique moment or even a social post that has been successful that you could point to?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, but I'll start with Ronaldo and I'll end with LaLiga. But we, with Ronaldo, we work really closely with his team to maximize our social reach with him, but we also do a lot of experiences with him, and we talk a lot about the product that he represents for us, CR7 Drive. We've done things with Relevant before. In 2019, when the ICC tournament was in China, Singapore, we did a lot with meet and greets with Ronaldo and the team to bring our distributors and fans into that experience. And then with LaLiga, I mean, when we announced our partnership, it was one of our top performing sports posts of 2020. I mean, Ronaldo and LaLiga North America definitely battled it out for that top spot. And it was really successful for us. We talk a lot about our sports nutrition, what we can feed the athletes, how we're working together, what our experts can provide to them as well. So it's a really educational post, but it raises a lot of awareness about what we do with athletes and teams around the world.
Great. And now I'm going to ask Patrick a question. Patrick, what are some of the things that LaLiga North America is really looking for when they're partnering with a brand?
Sure. It's a good question. I think, it's interesting thinking of my time being based in Madrid at HQ with LaLiga. Over the last 5-6 years, LaLiga has gone on this kind of incredible growth. I mean, we went from 30 employees to 700 around, I think it's 700, maybe even a bit more now, one office to 12 offices around the globe. And I would say each one of those offices in each of the countries where we have, one of my colleagues in, probably 50 countries now, we have a LaLiga employee there. I would say each one represents a different and unique opportunity. I can't say that it's a blanket solution for partnerships across the globe, or, each office would face different hurdles and challenges. So I would say, looking at it from a LaLiga North America lens, I would say we've built ourselves on kind of 4 or 5 kind of key pillars. One of which is that partnership lens, where it's, you have content, you have media and broadcast, events, activations, and then partnerships are key. When we look at the partnerships, it kind of stems across all of those pillars, but key for us is a partner that I would say wants to activate. You look at what Herbalife Nutrition does, whether it's on, the sports world in general, with their partnerships that Megan just mentioned, or when it comes into, male and feminine and female side of the game. I mean, there's literally great partnerships for them with our clubs and other soccer properties. So seeing someone that kind of, I guess, buys into the sport from a 360 approach, and also is dedicated to kind of activating the partnership is huge. I mean, even hearing that, announcements or posts and social media that we do with Herbalife Nutrition can be one of their top performing posts of 2020, alongside, an icon and legend like Cristiano, who played in La Liga for many years, is incredible. So, people who really, people and brands who really care to activate and build together is key for us and fundamental in partnerships.
And certainly Herbalife has done a great job activating all over the world. And you mentioned even social posts around La Liga and Ronaldo garner huge attention, which I think answers a little bit the question that I'm going to ask Megan next. Why soccer and why La Liga? And let's start there, and then I'm going to narrow the question a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why soccer? Why La Liga? Let me take a step back. So we've been in sports partnerships for 15 years, but the company's been around for 40. So we're kind of new to the game, right? And we started really small with some volleyball sponsorships here in our backyard in California. And then we grew to the LA Galaxy. We're, the longest running partner in the MLS right now with the Galaxy. And we grew aggressively from 2007 to now. We have over 200 partnerships. We've really, really grown aggressively. And we did stay true to that soccer footprint. Well, we continued to grow regionally with some of our offices looking at partnerships that made sense for them around the world. But when we look at soccer, COVID has provided us this really great opportunity in this last year to take a step back and look at our research. And we went really deep, actually looking at our long-term strategy. And we did a lot of consumer research, a lot of distributor research to see what was working for us in our portfolio. And it came back, no surprise, that soccer was working for us. And because we're so global in nature and we're in, around the world in 94 countries, soccer just really stands out as the place that we are doing well. Our message is getting out there. There's a lot of awareness for what our products do. So it just makes sense for us. And, why La Liga? They're, one of the top leagues in the world, and we want to be partners with that type of premier brand. And they offered us this unique opportunity to really, we haven't really done a ton in the league space. And this gave us an opportunity to kind of dip our toe in with North America and see if it fits for us and how well it's received. And it's been amazing. We've been able to really get things off the ground pretty quickly. I have Dario Soto on my team, and he has been managing this relationship and really working solidly on the activation programs and has gotten so much done since our initial announcement in November. Patrick, I think that's when we were kind of kicked it off, and we've already got plans all the way through the rest of the season. So it's really exciting.
And just to narrow down a little bit, talk a little bit about the impact or what you're looking for in terms of partnerships in the soccer space and in the US and North America, and how much you think the growth of the game has kind of encouraged you to pursue more partnerships specifically in soccer. I know you've been in soccer in the US in a while. You mentioned your longstanding relationship with the Galaxy, but have you seen this growth, and has that changed or kind of strengthened your strategy to pursue soccer partnerships?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of the numbers came back really strong for soccer in our internal research. So we did both internal and external, and it was incredible to see that the awareness level that we're hitting, and also just really the reach of soccer and what people are looking for in terms of content. We think it has so much more room to grow in the United States, and so we're really excited about that. And we think that a partnership like this is one of the things that we want to be a part of, to be affiliated with that growth. And I mean, but we also see it in our other markets too. I mean, there's such an appetite for this type of partnership, especially with this league. So we're really excited to see what we can do. But there's definitely been a massive growth for us in terms of soccer, and we're really happy with it.
Thanks. And just a reminder to everyone listening in on this session, first of all, thank you for spending time with us. And two, if you have any questions, please submit them for Megan and Patrick, and we'd be happy to read those and have them answer that for you. There's obviously a lot to talk about. Patrick, La Liga has this rare ability to really target multicultural audiences effectively in the United States. And I know this has been part of La Liga North America's strategy, led by our CEO, Boris Gartner, from day one. But can you explain to our audience just a little bit more about this strategy?
Sure. So, I alluded to it earlier with, La Liga going on this growth kind of pattern and trajectory, and going from one to, a dozen offices. That looks very different from office to office, and the North American office is no different. I think one of the first things Boris did when he got here was say, we're not going to just create a WeWork with one person or two people and say, hey, we're here and we're invested in the North American market. I think he knew that we needed to have a bit more investment and dedication to the market in order to get the traction really that we wanted to be successful. And it's also to have that long-term vision. So, we're here with our joint venture with Relevant Sports for 15 years. I think in year 3 right now. So really the way he kind of positioned it and positioned himself and La Liga and the brand here was to not just kind of, dip into, a hot market during an El Clasico match and have an event and then see you later, not come back for five years, or just kind of open, academies or grassroots programming, go in and take, registration money, then never come back, or not have that kind of, I guess, legacy project. So for us, I think it's been a vision that's been baked out since the start, and we fully, are dedicated to seeing it through. I think with the content piece, everything we do has content at the core. I think, for La Liga, it's clear that the kind of authentic or I guess the authentic fit for us is to connect with the Hispanic American fan base, whether that's first, second, third generation Hispanic American. And I would say, those fans prefer to consume La Liga, perhaps in Spanish. I think 80% of our fans actually watch La Liga in Spanish. And then I would say, it's kind of how and where they consume La Liga products is changing, as we go month to month. So for Boris and I think Adrian, our head of content, it was important to, create those additional opportunities for people to connect with our players, our clubs, our brand partners, and the league in general. We're now creating, I think, 7 English shows per week and 7 Spanish shows per week. Different talent and anchors across each one of those shows that are really designed to continue to interact and resonate with those demographics that I mentioned earlier. So it's a multilingual kind of content approach that I guess is, when we look at content, it's yes, heavy kind of content falls into media, but it also comes into the events as well, and events and activations being one of our pillars. So, we have kind of, I would say, hot pockets where we know La Liga is consumed by a lot of our fans across the country. And our intention, I guess, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic is to be very active in those cities and those regions, whether it's, Miami or New York or Chicago, Houston, Dallas, LA. I mean, it kind of goes on, but it's to make sure that, yes, we're creating the content on the media side for people to continue to consume the product, but also have those events in those cities where we know La Liga fans are there and craving the clubs and players and teams and the league. So I think it's a multi-pronged approach, connecting with fans on different levels and engaging with them on different levels. And, I think back to what I said earlier with Herbalife Nutrition, there's probably no better partner to be able to do that with in the market. When you have a partner who wants to activate, wants to engage in the multilingual content. And then, I'm excited for what post-pandemic can bring to us, to keep kind of building and evolving on what we're all kind of invested in.
I'm going to kind of ask this question to both of you, but I'll stay with Patrick. you've developed with your team and really an incredible strategy of capturing and growing the audience with content and different activations. But what does it do to La Liga North America and La Liga as a brand to be associated with such a major brand like Herbalife, who has such a great worldwide reputation, who is also associated with so many other big brands and athletes? What is just that association and being out in the marketplace with them do in terms of both fan engagement and then also kind of interest from other brands to continue doing more partnership deals?
Definitely. So, I mentioned earlier, and Megan had mentioned it as well. Having a brand partnership that already works with some of our clubs. I mean, Megan mentioned they already work with the Atletico Femenino, so they're already working with the Atletico women team. Obviously Cristiano being a former player, they had some exciting news, I think, released the other day as well. Herbalife Nutrition with another La Liga team. So, I'd say it's a very natural fit for us to be partnering with Herbalife Nutrition in the US, in North America. And I think for us, in terms of the magnitude of the partnership, it's huge. I mean, I would say if you dial it back 3 years ago to even when the joint venture was kicking off, or even pre-joint venture, for La Liga, it wasn't as easy as, some areas of the world, maybe you can go there and plant your flag in the ground and say, hey, we're La Liga, we're here, we have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Atletico, all these awesome clubs, all these iconic players and legends. And even, we'll be there to activate and boom, maybe you can get lucky and have brands come in and line up, whether that's sustainable or not. I mean, you have to work together to see, but it's not that easy in North America. I would say the fierce competition between sports in general, which Megan's already alluded to, they've partnered with some amazing athletes and leagues and clubs outside of the soccer world. So for us, knowing that there's incredible domestic leagues, other sports leagues here, it's not a flick of a light switch. So for us to be able to go to the market and say, hey, we have a partner like Herbalife, and we're working day in, day out with Megan, Dario, and the whole team there, it's incredible. And I think that's the type of case study that we always look to the market to continue to grow and engage with fans in new avenues. And it's for us, it's monumental. It's huge.
And I turn that same question over to Megan, brand association. So partnering with a brand like La Liga, really, which is just, a top flight, you said one of the best football leagues in the world. We'll take exception to that and say the best, but it's okay. Just in terms of brand association with La Liga, how does that impact, one, your relationship with consumers, and two, your relationship with other potential partners?
Sure. I mean, listen, our relationship with La Liga, you're right. It's the best league in the world, and we're so happy to be partner with it and partner with them. And, we actually have a ton of relationships within La Liga that, as Patrick alluded to, that we wanted to continue to grow on. And, we know this is where consumers are turning, and we want to be with them on that journey. And it helps connect our story globally as well, right? So we've been in soccer for a while now, where our footprint is kind of expanding, and we wanted to be expanding into one of the leagues that the consumers are following and they're really engaged with. And, we're really excited to thank you, Patrick, for announcing earlier. I forgot to start it at the top about our new La Liga partnership as well with Real Valladolid, and their, it just grows upon what we're doing within La Liga. And we just see this as a way to stay connected to those fans. And in North America, it's connecting to the fans that are here that we maybe have missed, and we want to bring them into our soccer journey and tell them what's happening in our story here, and make them aware that we're not just in the US associated with the LA Galaxy. We have a large global footprint in soccer, and we do have these other relationships that they should be aware of, and that they should be, seeing and being able to participate in when we hopefully can do some of our, activations in person again in the near future.
Great. And we're starting to have some questions trickle in, and we encourage everyone to please ask away. Patrick and Megan are the best at what they do, and I'm sure their expertise will be helpful in whatever you're looking for. I want to narrow in a little bit more, Megan, on your point. how is Herbalife using the LaLiga partnership assets to engage with fans? You've mentioned some, but can you go a little bit deeper there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, we're so excited for the post-COVID world because we have some really great fan experiences that we want to dig into and some great VIP opportunities. But in the reality that we're in right now, we're really digging into our digital experiences and what we can do. And there's a massive breadth of legends that we're able to work with and do meet and greet experiences with, even digitally. We're going to be working with Patrick and his team to produce a sports nutrition forum, and that's going to be internally for the experts on the teams, and we're going to bring our experts to them and really educate them on the products that we feel will work for the teams. We're going to be doing sort of a lot of social content that'll lean into legends that are partnering with our experts to really, share the nutrition content that we can deliver. So we're really trying to reach the audience right now digitally, but we look forward to this opportunity where we can do things that really tap into the potential on site, where there's, just untapped experiences that we can do.
Patrick, so much of what you're looking for in terms of a partner, as you mentioned, is really a partner that's willing to activate. For the past year, activations have been impossible in person. How have you changed the strategy, and how are you preparing for a world that remains uncertain in terms of timing and in terms of what it's necessarily going to look like?
I think we're somewhat, if you can call yourself fortunate over the last year, if any of us can, but I would say we're somewhat fortunate in that LaLiga was always a digital product when it came to the North American market, with the exception of some of the events and activations, which we were playing in 2020. We were playing 20 events in person across North America, but primarily it's always been a digital product. We've never had games here. We have the ICC, obviously, where our clubs come over and they compete in the summer. But in terms of our La Liga Santander season, we've always been very much a digital product with the content we're creating and finding those unique ways in how we engage with fans. So I would say that the shift or the pivot over the last year has not been has not been catastrophic for us. I would say it's, having content at the core of what we do has enabled us to still deliver and execute at a high level for the partnerships that we have. But it's also, it has given us some flexibility in terms of, hey, maybe, as Megan alluded, VIP experiences, taking, hopefully Megan and I, but taking Herbalife, fans, consumers, distributors, and La Liga fans over to El Clasico for a VIP experience. That's not a reality right now. So having the ability to maybe create, a health nutrition forum with Herbalife is awesome. I mean, for us as a league, sure, we talk a lot about our fans and the fans of the clubs and the players and how we want to engage with them, but also, working with our clubs is key. There's a lot of stakeholders when you look at La Liga. So if there are ways that we can leverage our partnerships with a Herbalife and benefit our clubs by, hosting a health forum and inviting, all of our clubs to hopefully, have these incredible learning experiences and best practices from our partners, that's incredible. And that's another example of how we can kind of pivot through the pandemic, whether it's content or being very innovative and creative with our partners. I think, it's never easy, but I think we've been able to navigate it the last while with relative success. And I hope, we continue to do that for the coming future. But obviously, we want fans back in the stands. I mean, that will be a great thing. And I think it just, will continue to amplify what we're already building on.
And Megan, how has your strategy have to change without the in-person contact? I mean, I know that's such a part of brand activation, being able to see, touch, and feel in person. That has not been possible. You have so many different partnerships in the sports world, but how has your strategy have to change, and how are you preparing for a post-COVID world with so much uncertainty?
We really definitely have leaned into the digital experiences with our athletes or with our teams. We've done multiple trainings with them on nutrition and mental health and anything in the wellness space. And we've brought them in and had conversations with our distributors. And we've really moved everything to an online experience where we can. The one positive about it is a lot of our athletes are home. So we've been able to capture a lot of content, which has been great. We've been able to, and a lot of user generated content. We've done a lot of like, how are you working out at home in the beginning of the pandemic to see like what their shift had been in terms of, instead of going to, the practice field, how are they taking care of themselves at home? How did that affect their nutrition if they're not burning the same number of calories that they were burning when they were on the field? So we've had a lot of really great opportunities to explore how this shift in their lifestyle has shifted how they approach their nutrition and their wellness. And, we've also had the opportunity to bring them on and do, all sorts of lives, be it social media or within employee engagement and with our distributor engagement to talk about what the reality is of the situation. And, there's athletes at home, right? So people want to know, even if you're a mom of 5 kids or 4 kids and you're sitting at home and you can't get in your class that you used to go to and you've got kids on Zoom and whatever it might be, this athlete is also kind of trying to change their lifestyle as well. So it really provided an opportunity to say, well, I make room to do this shift. And while I don't have time to run, the regular, 2 or 3 miles I would normally do, I can do this. And this is how I can get back into the physical shape that I need to be in. So we've really leaned into digital content with the team.
It's interesting what you said, and we've noticed it in our experience at Relevant too, is that with some of our partners or athletes at home, it has actually been easier to engage because of this incredible technology. And it's actually easier to get people to turn on their computer or their phone and kind of do a Zoom or a FaceTime. So while certainly everyone has missed out on that in-person contact, which you can't replicate exactly, in some ways it has opened experiences that otherwise wouldn't have happened because of the easiness it is to now to log in.
Yeah, I'm just going to add, I think it also provides sort of like a look behind the curtain, right? Like people can see what's happening at home with these athletes and they can really connect, right? Like they can really see that the athlete might be balancing their family life as well. And it really shifts how they have been approaching their nutrition. And, maybe it's bringing the family along to like get into the workout. So it's been this really great, I think it's actually been a really great experience to see how people are adapting. And, everyone is kind of on this equal playing field, like nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. And I think the second part of your question was, how are we approaching the future? And it's day by day right now. We're kind of, or month by month, I guess. We're in California, so it's a little bit of a different situation for us and has been for a while in terms of the lockdowns. But we're staying really connected with our partners. We're evaluating what's happening around the world. We're taking it case by case in some situations, and like everyone else, we were eager to get back to what the world was like before with all sorts of in-person opportunities. But, we're also cautious. We want everyone to be safe, everyone to be healthy. And we're really looking forward to having this all behind us.
Yes, we all are. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to a question from an audience member. And I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Utkarsh, his question is for Megan. And Kohli is an Indian superstar. How does his presence in the Indian market compare to that of Ronaldo, a more worldwide star?
It's interesting. Like, yes, Ronaldo has obviously, the largest social following of any athlete in the world, but Virat is incredibly popular. And I mean, his reach is beyond India, right? Like cricket is not just confined to India, and he has a large presence around the world. I mean, even here in North America, ESPN, he was in the top 100, he was 11th in the top 100 athletes. So his reach is really substantial for us. And, he's a very dedicated athlete. He actually, he's very committed to his nutrition, and, our partnerships with athletes, the thing that works for us is authenticity. Like it doesn't make sense for us to partner with somebody who's not going to be utilizing our product. Virat is somebody who really digs in and uses our Formula One and our PPP. So we're thrilled to be partners with him. It's been a long-term relationship in India, and, he's been an incredibly important part of the brand for us there, but he's also got reach that extends beyond. And, we work to sort of elevate his profile here in the United States as well.
Great. Patrick, I want to dig a little bit more into this changing landscape with COVID and how you've seen this technology that we now all use, the Zoom, and being able to click to be able to engage with partners like Herbalife in a way that might have been different a year ago.
Sure. I think there's a couple great examples. I mean, Megan and her team, we have some pretty exciting stuff actually coming in the pipeline starting next week. But she alluded to as well, it's an incredible amount of legends that we have access to in La Liga. We have the La Liga Ambassador Group, which is around 40 former players, Diego Forlan, Puyol, Iniesta. I mean, there's a whole bunch of great ones. And the great thing is a lot of them speak, multiple languages or from different areas of the world. So it's really kind of the ability to geo-target some of the content that we're creating has been amazing. I think, Megan said as well, seeing these athletes and these former athletes having, I don't know if it's more time, but just, being at home and being able to see them kind of in their setting is interesting. It's almost like MTV Cribs every time you get to do one of these experiences, because you'll see, we have Luis Garcia, who has an incredible backdrop of when he was playing at Liverpool or he played a few different La Liga clubs, and he has, different trophies, jerseys, and it's really interesting to see, some of these former players and legends and current players in their kind of in their setting, and you get kind of a peek into their life. So it's really interesting. What we've been able to do outside of those kind of meet and greets and those virtual meet and greets is actually pivot our watch parties to online virtual watch parties. We partner with a company called LiveLike, where we actually bring in, depending on the objective of the partner, 30, 40 different kind of maybe sweepstake winners, where we can actually, through our broadcasting partner be actually able to kind of create a virtual watch party experience, which is amazing. We weren't necessarily trying to do that before, and I think with what we're doing with Megan and Herbalife is going to continue to kind of push those opportunities. And I think the more brainstorming sessions we have together with our teams, the better, because I think a lot of the stuff that we're seeing come out of the pandemic has been game changing for us, and I wouldn't be surprised if beyond this season and the pandemic that these remain as kind of staples in what we do in our partnership, and it just kind of amplifies and builds on those in-person and digital experiences. So there's probably every platform you can imagine, from Teams and Zoom or Blue Jeans or all the different ones. I've probably been on all of them a whole bunch. And I think we all have, but it's I think it's continued to kind of push the boundaries, which is exciting.
Yeah, I often think about what a pandemic would have felt like 10 years ago, which would have been just a completely different experience. All right, we have two more questions from our audience members, and then we're going to wrap it up. Megan, is Herbalife looking, and you mentioned that you are, but in more detail, are you looking to work with more specific Spanish teams on top of the work that you're already doing with the league?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is really, we work with our regional partners to make sure we see what's going to make sense. I mean, as I mentioned, we're kind of looking at the long-term strategy for the company right now. We're really evaluating where we're going to be for the next 10 years. And I mean, yeah, Spanish teams make a lot of sense for us. But we're not, we're really investigating the team versus the league approach, and we're looking at individual athletes. So we're balancing a lot of different options right now. And because we're global, we would want to make sure that wherever we're looking, that they have a global reach, right? Like our relationships within the region are super important, but we also need to make sure that whatever we're doing will be impactful in some of our other countries around the world.
Great. The next question comes from Charlie, who says that he saw Herbalife's work with the LA Galaxy and the virtual experience. And what plans do you have with La Liga that fall into a similar vein?
I'm So happy you saw that, Charlie. It was actually just released not too long ago. We usually take some of the LA Galaxy players around the world around this time, in the sort of the December timeframe after the season, and we do an experience with them in a particular region where they do some meet and greets with our distributors. We weren't allowed to do that this year, so we pivoted and had the virtual experience built. It actually just all kind of came together in the last 2 months and was released just recently. That is something we would absolutely love to do with LaLiga. It's really new to us and something that we sort of leaned into in the last couple of weeks. We have a large internal conference coming up as well, where we're working on really unique internal digital experiences, but that is something we'd love to carry over into our relationship with LaLiga at some point.
I think to piggyback on that, Ben, it's great. Another reason why it's such a great partnership with Herbalife is that you can take those best practices that they are able to execute at great high levels with other partners, and not replicate per se, but to be able to put our touch with a LaLiga Herbalife kind of perspective to it. So I think there's coming out of this, I think there's going to be a lot of great best practices that we're able to build on together and put our touch to it.
And talk about those learnings. So basically what you're saying is when you work with a brand that has a lot of experience in different ways of activating or engaging, you're then able to kind of use some of the learnings or best practices in other partnerships, or you have other ideas of exploring new partnerships based on your experience with such a big brand like Herbalife.
Yeah, I mean, I think every partnership is different. Not to sound cheesy, but the kind of KPIs and objectives of every brand partner will be different. So if you look at, for us now, we have 7 partners across North America over the last kind of 18 months. And if you compare but if you take a Herbalife there with a Verizon or PointsBet, we have Stagefront Tickets, Fanatees. I mean, there's a group of them, Camarena Tequila. I mean, if you look at Camarena and Herbalife, you probably have very different KPIs and objectives. So it's taking those experiences and that, I guess, access to legends, athletes, watch parties, creating content in multiple languages. I mean, it's taking that and getting creative on how you actually build that and develop that and create that together with the brand partner to make sure that it's going to actually drive the results that we're all looking for. I'm sure Megan and her team has a very different KPI or approach or reason why they want to partner with LaLiga as opposed to a Verizon. Which is okay. It's really that it's coming together and finding out, hey, what you guys did with LA Galaxy actually was amazing in LA. With LaLiga, maybe there's actually an opportunity to do something similar if we were hyper focused on Miami or whatever that is. So it could kind of come as a different approach for different regions in the country, or it could just come as similar content, but again different with our touch on it. And I think it really the kind of call to action and the look and feel is really going to depend on the partner. But I think there's a lot of best practices you can take from a LaLiga Verizon partnership with a LaLiga Herbalife partnership. It's just making sure that you kind of communicate it and engage the right way.
And Megan, same with you. Are you able to see experiences with a brand and a league like LaLiga that you're then able to either bring to other partnerships, or it might broaden a window of different partnerships you're exploring? Is that something that works with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really take a lot of learnings from Patrick and his team, and we've created this really great synergy between the two groups, and we're so open to hearing what's worked for other partners and how we could maybe adapt that into what we do here at Herbalife. And it's definitely, we do that with all of our partners. We want to be able to learn what's going to best reach the different audiences, because I think there's a lot of opportunities to cross promote, across the globe and learn from different people. So, the LA Galaxy experience, we did something similar with Ronaldo a few years ago, where we did a VR experience with him on a photo shoot. So, and it was just for our distributors. It was an internal experience where you could walk through what it was like to be on the set with him, and you had the Oculus Rift goggles on and were able to kind of turn around and Ronaldo's standing right in front of you. And those that was a learning for us. We was able to adapt into this, and we learned that from some other partners. So, we're super open, and we really like the relationship we have with a team like Patrick's and with some of our other partners, where it's a very open, communicative relationship where they're going to let us know what's working, what's not, and how we can really adapt it.
Well, that's going to wrap up our time today. And it was so great hearing about this really strong partnership with LaLiga North America and Herbalife Nutrition. Thank you so much to Megan from Herbalife, Patrick from LaLiga North America, and thank you so much to our audience at home for listening and participating. And we're all crossing our fingers and hoping that soon we'll be able to do this in person. Again, I'm Ben Sasenko from Relevant Sports Group. It was a pleasure today. And now we're going to turn it back over to the studio.